being born. Cristiano Ronaldo sounds cool, right? Now imagine what it's like to be that kid from childhood who has a legendary future ahead of him. Well, no one really expected this, especially his neighbors. Ronaldo grew up on the island of Madeira, where football was more a form of entertainment than a sport. The problem was that he was kicking all the balls around like he was playing in the Champions League final. People even stopped buying new balls. They were still found dropped in bushes or at the bottom of a local stream. One day, he played so hard that the ball flew right into the garden of Dona Esmeralda's neighbor and took down 3 cabbages for her. She came out shaking the head of a cabbage and screamed, "If you get hit again, I will file a complaint with FIFA about your legs." But that was just the beginning. Little Cristiano was constantly training. His favorite target was the fence that stood next to the house. The fence did not complain, but Cristiano's father once couldn't stand it and nailed a sign to the gate. "It is forbidden to hit the ball, except on Sundays." But you understand that Ronaldo is not someone who will be stopped by a sign. He just moved it to the next house. But Cristiano was also incredibly fast. So much so that at school, in physical education classes, he ran after the ball so fast that the teacher even doubted if he was human. At some point, the cool competition turned into a show called Who Can Catch Up with Ronaldo? No one could, but the local dentist had more work to do. So many children fell trying to repeat his feints. Another problem was his desire to always win. Even in school games where the kids were just supposed to have fun, Ronaldo managed to score a dozen goals in a row. One day, after such a match, he was asked, "Krish, don't you think that was a little unfair?" To which he replied, "If you don't want to lose, practice more." And he went off to kick a ball against Dona Esmeralda's fence. However, not everything went smoothly. As a child, he was not the tallest and strongest, which is why the boys from the neighboring yard often teased him. They were shouting at him, "Hey Ronaldo, don't get lost in the grass on the pitch." But one day he scored such a goal that the ball flew right through the window of this very neighbor's house. After that, the nicknames ended, and the parents of the neighborhood boys added glass insurance to their homes. Another funny incident happened at Christmas, when his parents gave him a new soccer ball. Cristiano was so happy that he immediately ran outside with him, but the game ended after 5 minutes. The ball flew into the coop, where a hen named Lola decided that it was a new rooster and tried to attack it. While Cristiano was saving his ball, the whole neighborhood was laughing. Or another thing, one day his older brother decided to teach him football tricks. Everything was going well until Ronaldo decided to do a Zidane feint around an old tree stump. He spun so much that he fell right into a puddle. But what does a future champion do? He gets up, wipes the dirt from his face and says, "Well, it's okay. The main thing is that the stump is intact." And, of course, Ronaldo was very stubborn. When someone said that he couldn't do something, it sounded like a challenge to him. His sister once joked, "You can't eat 10 sandwiches at a time." An hour later, the whole family was sitting at the table, and Cristiano was finishing his dozen sandwiches. However, it was difficult to run with this weight later. But the funniest incident happened at his first serious tournament. He wanted to stand out so much that he asked his mom to buy him bright green cleats. Of course, these boots attracted attention, especially the referee, who said, "Kid, with that color on the field, you can only see your feet." But, surprisingly, it was in these boots that he scored 3 goals. After that, his entire neighborhood started buying green boots, and Dona Esmeralda painted the fence the same color. So Cristiano's childhood was fun, but not easy. But thanks to these cases, he became not only a legend, but also a man who knows how to laugh at himself. But that's what makes us truly great. When Cristiano got older, the problems didn't go away. They just became bigger. For example, his stubbornness. Imagine, at one of the first training sessions for the junior team, the coach said, "Ronaldo, why do you try to beat everyone on the pitch every time? Do you think football is a solo performance?" Cristiano thought for a second and then replied, "Isn't that right?" His perfectionism also started to bring problems. He wanted to be the best at everything, run the fastest, score the most, and be the most handsome. Before the first official match for Sporting Lisbon, he gelled his hair for so long that he was late for the warm-up. The coach screamed, "Are you going to play, or are you going to a beauty contest?" Ronaldo calmly straightened a lock of hair and said, "Why not both?" Indeed, his hairstyles have become a separate topic for discussion. Fans, especially men, joked that he spends more time on his head than on training. But Ronaldo was still doing his job, running faster, hitting harder, and looking better. By the way, his habit of doing everything perfectly sometimes reached the point of absurdity. Once, in the locker room, he took so long to tie his shoelaces so that they were symmetrical that the match almost started without him. The team captain couldn't stand it and said, "Krish, we're playing soccer, not participating in the world's most beautiful shoelaces contest." But the funny thing started when he started playing for Manchester United. Imagine, a young guy who speaks almost no English gets into a team where the shouting on the field is so loud that it seems like everyone is just swearing at each other. During the first training session, he heard Roy Keane yelling something in his direction, and he thought it was a compliment. He smiled, gave a thumbs up, and ran off with the ball. It later turned out that Keane was yelling, "Pass the ball, you narcissistic Portuguese." English became a real struggle for him. When coach Alex Ferguson first asked him to not try to beat the whole stadium, he only understood the word stadium. Therefore, in the next match, he tried to beat everyone again, including the referee and even the photographers behind the goal. Another case was with his famous workouts. While the rest of the players went to the shower after class, Ronaldo stayed on the field to practice his shots. One evening, the stadium's caretaker almost called the police when he saw someone hitting a ball in the dark. When he got closer, he saw Ronaldo, who said, "I'm sorry, I scored only 99 times, but I need exactly 100. He also had funny situations with his colleagues. One of the most memorable cases occurred when Wayne Rooney noticed that Ronaldo was constantly looking in the mirror in the locker room. Rooney came over and joked, "Krish, you probably love the mirror more than football." To which Ronaldo replied, "No, Rooney, I love the mirror because I'm good at football." But it wasn't just mirrors and hairstyles that made Ronaldo a legend. His famous a cry of joy after a goal also appeared by chance. In one of the matches, after scoring his 200th goal, he was so happy that he accidentally waved his arms and shouted something like, "See!" The fans began to repeat after him, and Ronaldo himself, noticing the success, decided that this was now his corporate identity. Although there is a rumor on the sidelines that his first "see" is an attempt to chase away a bee that was circling around his head. Of course, being Cristiano Ronaldo is not only fun, but also difficult. The fans expect goals from you, the press expects scandals, and the coaches want you to work like a robot. But, as Ronaldo himself said, "If I can handle training, I can handle everything." And here he is, Cristiano, after years of training, matches and hairstyles, standing at the top. Thousands applaud him. Books are written about him. Films are being made. And he, smiling, remembers how it all started on a small island where Dona Esmeralda's fence hated him. So maybe being born Cristiano Ronaldo is difficult, but then there is something to tell the children, especially about the stump, the chicken, and the green cleats.